Welcome to DRTSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shiva Prasad Reddy alias DRTSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello, and a warm welcome to our Guru BV Subbarao Garu. Namaste. And another great gentleman, KumarakalanandMani ji from Goa, and who is an associate of a prodigy, I should say, Padma Shri and Padma Vibhushan, MADHAV GADGIL ji. He is the spirit of nature. I would call him like that. He is no more. Passed away on 7th of January in Pune. So TRTSPR channels are paying a honest tribute, such a great man. And he has been awarded by United Nations also, that's some Earth Award alongside this. He was a great teacher. So emulating him, there are many, and we are too part of that many. And I do have environment people, DRTSPR channels, showcasing the concern for environment and the symbiosis, that living with the nature, that love for the nature. I'll just show some paper clippings. Meanwhile, yes, sir, who will start?
And I welcome and invite Sri Kalanandmani ji, who
Yes,
was a very close associate of Sri MADHAV GADGIL,
yeah,
and who was one of the founder members of Western Ghats, Save Western Ghats.
okay.
Kalanand has a long association of more than 3 decades
Oh, wonderful.
with this group. I invite Sri Kalanandmani ji, to open the
Good
floor,
evening.
and I also invite Dr. Shilpa Krishna, who was an active member in Patancheru industrial area for more than 2 decades.
Wonderful.
She helped, and I thought she should also join us. So welcome, Shilpa. Shilpa, can you hear me? Okay, we move to Sri Kalanandmani ji. Kalanandmani ji, the floor is yours.
Good evening. This is not very pleasant to have an absence of the inspirational and extremely knowledgeable person and very devoted to environment and ecology of this country, more so of the Western Ghats. And that was Dr. MADHAV GADGIL. The sad news struck to us yesterday early morning, whereas I was knowing that he was not keeping good health for last 2-3 years. But we never believed that he will go so soon. And the reason of not believing that, he was a very courageous man, a man of willpower, and man of the nature. I personally heard the word called environment first time in my life in 1972, when UNO organized a conference on human environment in Stockholm. And our Prime Minister, late Indira Gandhi, her speech became very popular and controversial, where she said that the poverty is the biggest pollution in our country. First time I heard the word called environment scientist.
Anna, namaste, Anna. Purushotam.
And that
నాకు
was
ఒక 2 minutes పడుతుంది.
No problem, Anna. Kumar Kalanand garu is associate from Goa joined. No?
తెలుసు ఓకే
Sir, please go on,
And
sir.
that time,
నాకు
the
ఒక
word
డిఫికల్టీ ఉంది
environment
ఒక
scientist
Sir.
appeared with the name of Dr. Madhav Gadgil when he visited to our organization in Madhya Pradesh. That was the interaction with the environment scientist first time in my activist life. And I must confess that even at that time, I was unable to understand the importance of environment and the importance of the conservation of environment. At that time, our belief was to work for the social and economic equality in this country is more important. But after a few years, when I started working among the Adivasis of Khotigaon in Goa, and while dealing with their issues, I started interacting with the similar issues in the neighboring states like Karnataka and Maharashtra, which led us to have a more serious thought and exposure about the Western Ghats. And at that time, we came to know more about scientific contribution of Dr. Madhav Gadgil. He was the man who designed Nilgiri Biosphere. He was the man who wrote intensively about the Western Ghats and who did a lot of research. But I was never knowing that we will have a association to work together for the conservation and protection of the Western Ghats. And that opportunity came very soon in 1986 when we started thinking and planning about to have a massive awareness campaign about the Western Ghats to attract the heart and mind of the policymakers and people at large. And that was in 1986. And when the Save the Western Ghat March was designed, it was designed with the two committees. One was the organizing committee, of which I was the central coordinator, and another was the advisory committee, of which Professor K.C. Malhotra was the chairman. In the advisory committee, or we can say through advisory committee, Dr. Madhav Gadgil became the associate of the Save the Western Ghat March, which was later converted into Save the Western Ghat movement. And at that time, Dr. Madhav Gadgil was also member of the scientific committee of the Prime Minister of India. And that was a privilege for us to get connected directly with the Prime Minister's good office. During the march in which Dr. Madhav Gadgil himself walked for 2 days, but during the march we felt that march should not end with a certain slogans, but as march proceeded, we also realized that it must emerge with a long-term commitment, because more we were exposed with the Western Ghats, more we realized its importance, and more we were eternally inspired to have a long-term strategy to work for the betterment of the Western Ghats. And in this task, we requested Dr. Madhav Gadgil to prepare a draft follow-up plan of the Save the Western Ghat March, which he did. We had series of meetings, and that draft plan was also discussed in the core group. And that draft was presented in the conference held as a follow-up of the Save the Western Ghat March after 100 days of Padayatra in Goa. And Dr. Madhav Gadgil presented that follow-up plan on 27th January 1988 with a very comprehensive uh, consideration and recommendations about the Western Ghats. Unfortunately, not into we are in 2026, but in the mid 80s, the activism was at high peak, and activists were very critical about the scientist. And in the Save the Western Ghat March, we had people from different ideologies. So that the follow-up plan presented by Dr. MADHAV GADGIL was in the center of discussion and controversy as well. And because of that, our Kerala team decided to not to participate in the post-March follow-up plan that was the Save the Western Ghat movement. And their allegation was that Dr. Gadgil has not taken consideration of many other things. And that was a kind of decline or deterioration of a possible biggest environmental movement in the Western Ghats at that time, which took us nearly 6 to 7 years to restart, to re-strengthen it. The biggest loss was that after the completion of March, in fact, I resigned as coordinator because of internal things. And but at that time, we were invited by the representatives of the Prime Minister in the office of Center for Science and Environment to discuss the follow-up plan. And Prime Minister himself was very much interested to know what we are going to do hereinafter. And when we said that the whole movement or campaign has in a way has collapsed, and we don't have a very concrete collective plan, so we will take time to represent again. The representatives of the Prime Minister were really disappointed at that moment, and I think that was a biggest drawback or loss of our initiative to save the Western Ghat. But after 5-6 years, some of us again tried to rework for the re-strengthening the Save the Western Ghat movement. That resulted into third conference of Save the Western Ghat movement held in Goa. And after that conference, we had a series of meetings with the core team in which the idea of requesting Government of India to form a commission or committee to have a fresh study of the Western Ghats, fresh demarcation of the Western Ghats, and have a recommendations by the commission to how to protect, how to conserve, how to restore the entire Western Ghats. Yep. And that request was made in the fourth conference we had in Kotagiri near Ooty, in which the Minister for Environment and Forest, Mr. Jairam Ramesh, came as the chief guest, and he very quickly accepted our request to form a commission. And we were ready with the name to suggest Dr. MADHAV GADGIL to lead this commission. And therefore, Western Ghats Ecology Expert Panel came into existence. This commission, under the leadership of Dr. MADHAV GADGIL, really worked very hard. And within 1.5 years, that report was in public domain. But unfortunately, that report was not totally accepted by the Save the Western Ghat movement. That report was also rejected by the Government of India. And that report also created a kind of controversy, unwarranted controversy, in certain part of Kerala and certain part of Karnataka.
Yeah, we will come back to you, Kalamanji.
Okay.
Now you gave the narrative, the man, the prodigy, Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan, and the Western Ghats controversy from where Southwest Monsoon takes off. My Guru, Purushotam Reddy also has joined. And another Guru, BV Subba is also there. I'll come back to you on your finer movements as to how you used to lead this unpopular environment agitation during that or enlightenment during that time. I'll come back to you.
Right.
Anna,
Okay. Thank you.
Anna, your memories, Anna.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, Anna.
Actually, to be very frank, I never had an opportunity of meeting him. Though I had the opportunity of going through the entire the scientific report on Western Ghats and the strategies to save the Western Ghats. And I have read its articles multiple times, over a period of time. But physically, I didn't have any opportunity or there was no scope for interaction for me with him. But he was always an inspiration, not only to me, but to all environment loving people of this country. In fact, he was one scientist for whom people and environment were very dear to his heart. When we are talking about environmental movement in India, we are normally reminded of the Chipko movement and from there onwards, other important people struggles to protect the environment. And these struggles have been there right from the days of, we remember the Bishnois. But actually, one point I want to make it very clear that we, the people living in this country, we always lived on a symbiotic relationship, with our background ecosystem. And when I say this, I go back to the period when India became free. And, that period, particularly till 1960, the ecology in this country, the different ecosystems in this country were, in spite of the loot by the British, on the whole, things were still okay because protection of environment was in the blood of the people of this country. The lifestyles of the people were environment friendly, and they had all along, they were organizing their lives, respecting the limits of nature, and also, while organizing development, they always took into consideration the possibilities and potentialities of different ecosystems, and they had planned their activity, parallel to that. But it's only after, say, 1960, 65, slowly the corporate lobby, the industrial lobby, they started pressurizing the political system and they started getting the concessions and, and we are a witness to the loot of the forests in India by the Indians. Everybody knows what happened during the British Raj, and particularly when we see that the drain theory, Dadabhai Nauroji's famous write-up on how the British looted India, that is that was what we were a witness during the British Raj. But now we the people of India during the last say about 60 years, we all of us were a witness to the loot of this country by the rich and the powerful and the mighty. And that is why we find people's struggles in independent India. Most of these struggles are for the protection of their habitat. For example, when the Uranium Mining Corporation of India, when they wanted to take up uranium mining in Nallamala forest, which is part of the Eastern Ghats, the Adivasis there, they invited us. We went there and we stood by them. We explained everything. And also we educated them not only about the laws, but also on the technology of protest. And in a very, very peaceful manner, in about 1 week, 10 days time, they were able to exert pressure on the political representative, that is local MLAs, and finally the project had to be given up. So this is, when we go to the people and explain today's technology of protest in a peaceful Gandhian method. Kalananji is a very reputed Gandhian, and so also my friend B.V. Subbarao Garu. All of us are Gandhians. We believe in peaceful change and peaceful protest. We believe in educating, sensitizing, mobilizing, and bringing about change. And that change, we were able to bring about in Eastern Ghats, where we stopped a nuclear reactor way back in 1987. Subsequently, we stopped uranium mining twice while participating in the environmental public hearing on 2 occasions. But the third time, with a gap of 20 years, when recently, as I told you just now, about 5 years, 6 years ago, we were able to stop uranium mining once again in Nalamala, and that too in a very short span of 1 week, 10 days, with effective results. So I would like to, first of all, pay my respects to our veteran MADHAV GADGIL ji, who inspired, I can safely say, all the generations, all the scientists, say for the past 50 years or even more, a scientist who stood by the people and who could understand the suffering of the people. Because once if the ecosystem is disturbed, it will become increasingly difficult for people to continue to make a living in that particular region. Take the case of recent Aravalis. Why suddenly it came into focus? Because the people there already, thanks to Supreme Court order, environment today is part of the curriculum. And there are a lot of people explaining, scientists are going to the people, environmentalists are there, and selfless people, it is, we have been working with the spirit of India's freedom struggle all through. And this selfless work is dedicated to the people of this country. At the global level, I'll just take another 5 minutes. At the global level, as all of us are aware, we have, that wonderful journey right from Rachel Carson, her first book, The Silent Spring. Then comes the Earth Day, then Stockholm Conference. And from that, we come to World Commission on Environment and Development, which has been published in the form of a book, Our Common Future. After that, we come to Rio. And from Rio onwards, 1992, the Earth Summit, we come to the Conference of Parties. And so far, 30 times the whole world met on that is climate change. And yet, we are nowhere, we are not in a position to come to a decision because there are very, very, very strong lobbies, particularly the fossil fuel lobby, the corporate lobby, and today's world, today's world right now, as we are discussing this, we have the US president thinking of grabbing Greenland. And even China is thinking of. So where are we going to head? We are almost today once again a world war like situation where the focus is to the rare metals, and the whole international politics is rotating around them.
Right.
So technology is dictating, and coming back to India, I strongly feel that this country must undergo a major paradigm shift. Otherwise, we'll be simply groping in the dark. In India, political parties are in the grip of the corporates. The unfortunate part of this country is not a single report of the UN has ever been discussed in Parliament.
They're not even aware.
And we, inspired by Madhav Gadgilji's wonderful work on the Western Ghats and Kalananji's, we worked very hard for nearly 8 years, and we brought out a report on Eastern Ghats. It was released by Pranav Mukherjee in Delhi. Jairam Ramesh was there in Hyderabad. We had so many sessions. But this report also is gathering dust. We have ensured that all the MPs whose constituencies fall in the Eastern Ghats range, they were given copies of the report.
Right.
And where are we going? The political parties are at the beck and call of the corporates, not the people of this country. And in spite of the fact that we have Article 51A, capital A and small g, the members of parliament and MLAs, they think it is not for them, it is for the common man of this country to be concerned and to take up protection activities. With this, I'll be available. I request our friend
Yeah, we have got
Shiv
another
Prasad.
8 minutes to go.
You-
Subbarao garu,
Yeah, please,
take up. Subbarao,
please carry on, please.
the floor is yours, sir. Subbarao garu, straight away.
When our deep condolences to the family of Madhav Gadgil, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. And at this, I thank KalanandMani to accept the invitation and share about the background of the Western Ghats. From my bottom of heart, I congratulate all the members of Western Ghats. This is the only movement in this country wherein we have diversified professionals, academicians, practitioners, activists, communities. In no other environment movement has such, convergence of people. I once again congratulate the efforts of and see, when we look, 1941 was his birthday. He is also parallelly moving with the seniors of environmental movement globally, like Rachel Carson, the Silent Spring. For last 1 year, I am talking to Kalanandji, and again I am placing it. Kalanandji, the movements have started, we could influence, we could differ, we could come back. But one thing is a total vacuum. We are looking for someone to take the baton to continue the movement. That is most important in this country. And I thank even Dr. Shiv Prasad for giving this opportunity and creating this. I think we should focus on how do we take forward. Thank you, Kalanandji. Thank you,
I'll
Shiv
ask
Prasad.
Kalanandji
Thank
to
you,
share some
Professor
final
Reddy.
moments.
Thank you.
Sir, I'll ask Kalanandji, we have got 4 minutes time. I'll ask Kalanandji to share some final moments which he has spent with Madhav Gadgilji as a tribute before we wind up.
As a for, yeah.
Yeah. Sir, please.
We have met many stalwart scientists in this country, but Dr. Madhav Gadgil was different among all because of his way of living. He was very simple. no ego, no hangover, very sweet, uh, very laborious, very field-centric scientist, ready to go anywhere at any time, very meticulous, and that made him more acceptable among all sections in this country as environmental scientist. His second quality was, to keep on taking new issues. For example, the whole issue of sacred groves in the Western Ghats, that documentation and conservation was largely inspired by him. And he was instrumental also in getting the entire science faculties spread in 6 states to work for the conservation work as well. So in this regard, the conservation community feels today a big vacuum in his absence, and we don't see someone to fill that gap, fill that vacuum, and therefore his absence will be felt for longer time. And
1 minute message. How should
Yeah.
the youngsters, environmentalists,
three tasks
Simple.
which is not fulfilled. One, to convert entire Western Ghats as a sensitive ecological zone. Number two, to have a common authority for the Western Ghats, which is spread in 6 states. And third is to strengthen the Gram Sabha to take care of the ecological resources. And this task is for the youths to make their future better.
Yeah.
Thank
Sir,
you.
Subbarao-ji,
Thank
wind
you.
up, sir. You have 1 minute.
1 second, Shiv Prasad.
You have 1 minute. You wind up, sir.
Shilpa has sent a message.
Yeah.
Actually, Shilpa, you would like to speak?
No, we have only 1.5 minutes time, sir. I think you should wind up. Next show we'll call in another 3 days time. I'll call.
Okay.
I want you to
See,
wind up on what Kalanidhi has said.
he was just remembering how he was involved with the Gram Sabhas and all. So nothing else. Okay, we can. Please
Yeah.
go ahead, Shiv Prasad.
Yeah, it is wonderful to host all who have been very close and who are very good environmentalists. One thing every politician has to understand, every administrator has to understand, and the latest media, not just flaunting with environment. The meaning of environment should be properly understood, because your body needs air which you breathe that comes from this great nature, and 90% of your body is filled with water. So that water resources, these are natural resources which befill the environment and nature. Sir, you wind up. Subbarao-ji.
The beauty of MADHAV GADGIL is he made very sincere attempt in promoting ecology perspectives. Unfortunately, afterwards, all the people have hijacked everything under the name of environment. It's time to revive ecological movement. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is for the day again. Once again, may his soul rest in peace, and our heartfelt condolences to that great beloved family. We pray for his soul once again. At the same time, we want all those youth Gram Sabhas to become enlightened about environment and to safeguard the resources